I'm back. That was wild. My computer physically would not allow me to go back into a stream. So I am on my phone temporarily because this is not going to be as long because I don't have as much charge and I can't find my cell phone cord. So, hi guys, I am back and I'm going to try to pull up the chat so I can kind of read along as we go, but I'm going to mute it so it doesn't give us weird feedback. Okay, let's see if this works. So it looks like everything is going so far, and I don't have a lag between me and it. So I think I'm good. There's maybe a second that I'm off from the actual screen to the thing. But yeah, YouTube's having a little bit of a glitch because I went to go and start the chat again, and whatever I did, it just kind of went, no. So here I am on my phone now. So yeah. Hi, Gina. Hello. But back to where we were. I just wanted to hop on for just a little while, chit chat. I haven't done this in a while. I'm kind of hunched over now because I'm looking down because my cell phone is down, but I want to be able to see the chat also because sometimes on the cell phone you can't see it as well. So this will give me the opportunity to do that. Didn't I used to travel with another girl? Yeah, I did. I've traveled with Riley a lot. Currently she is in Vegas taking care of her business. I'm here in Texas taking care of mine. That's how it goes sometimes. You're nomads. Whenever we both started out, we started out traveling solo and then we connected and it was so fun to be able to have those experiences with her, and we plan on doing some things in the future. We just can't right now because both of us have real life stuff going on. Of course, I have to get the van fixed and she's taking care of some things that she's mentioned on her channel with her mental health. I think it's very important for her to take that time. And as a friend, talk to her all the time, but unfortunately we can't travel together. That kind of is sad, but at the same time, it's giving both of us an opportunity to handle what we need to. And our base camps are just in different places. So in all reality, it is kind of what it is. But yeah, I used to travel with Riley a lot. I hope to travel with her after the weather cools off again. I'm not sure what she has in mind, but we were talking about some adventures already, so yeah. Do I ever do cooking videos in the 12-volt crock pot? I've done a couple, but at the same time, I didn't really focus a ton on that simply because I have so many things that I do, including van stuff, but also all of the adventure stuff. And so I didn't think people would really be that interested in it because I showed it and I kind of showed how I use it, but doing repetitive videos kind of gets boring after a while. So I didn't think that people would be interested in it. So I'm going to do a few more because since I did my unboxing with the slow cooker, I've had a lot of people asking for some information on both the stove and also the crock pot. So I'm going to show some recipes in both of them. That way people can kind of see the differences, but also kind of some of the stuff that I've been able to make in it. Let's see. I'm not training to be a professional Frisbee golfer. I am really bad at Frisbee golf. I don't see that being in my journey of things that I'm good at ever. So no. Let's see, a couple of other things, a couple of like maintenance things that I want to talk about. Of course, I'm going to talk about what's going on with the van in just a couple of minutes. I want to make sure that everybody who was in the previous chat is able to make it over to this chat because, you know, the chaos. I'm also going to tell you guys a little bit more about some of the things that I've been doing while I've been here adventure-wise that are going to be coming to the channel, and some of the things that I'm planning on doing if, crossing my fingers, things go well. Not sure. So we'll talk about all of those and then a few other things that kind of just, you know, are going on. I will talk to you guys until my phone gets ready to die. I don't know how long that's going to be realistically, but whenever I get the little countdown, I'll probably wrap it up pretty aggressively, otherwise it'll die. Let's see. Of course, I'm in my base camp right now, which is in Texas. I share portions of my journey on my other channel, which is the Tiny Texas Living channel. If you're interested in seeing kind of the weird stuff that I do, you can see that there. Otherwise, you can just continue watching this channel and see the adventure videos and then the van videos. Despite the fact that I'm currently displaced from my van, I have a lot of things that are kind of moving parts that will be going back into my van, and right now I'm talking about those a little bit just to kind of see what is actually going to go back in the van, because as you know, I had to clean out the entire thing. It was not fun. There were a lot of things in there. So since I had to clean it all out, I thought this gives me a fresh slate to kind of go back in with to see if I want to change something, if I have any projects, if I want to add or subtract like items. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. Of course, I'm going to be changing out the fridge because my other fridge was kind of getting some struggle bussy moments. I have since checked it. The cord is faulty, so I've ordered another one, but at the same time, I'm going to use that as a backup fridge just in case. I always like to have a backup option just in case. But for now, I am going to be carrying the new fridge, which I'm really excited about. It's a slight bit shorter than the other one, just a tiny bit, so I might even be able to lower my bed a little bit. I'm not sure if I want to do that or not. Otherwise, in the bed, I'm going to be painting in the bed. In the van, I'm going to be painting the bed again using waterproofing paint, just because it's time to do some of those maintenance things. And so those are projects that I'm going to be sharing also kind of while I'm here. So you'll see those soon enough. Let's see. There are a few other things that I'm trying out that I needed to replace that I haven't really talked about with you guys. One of the things that I have to replace is actually the 12-volt inverter power cord that I had. It was still partially working, but it was starting to go out. So I went ahead and checked out a couple new options. You'll see those pretty soon. And also I kind of wanted to share that because that's how I started out, was just with a small inverter. And so a lot of people don't realize that before I had a van, I drove a car across the country about 100,000 miles, and I tent camped everywhere. And the only power source that I had was one of those little plug and play 12-volt inverters that you can plug your stuff in. And so I would charge my laptop, and also I would charge my cell phone and my camera batteries and everything off of that. And time management skills became very important when it came to realizing, oh, I'm in the car for this long. This is all the time I have to charge something. And so I wanted to kind of show some of those things again. So those will be coming up. And then also there's a few other things that are just kind of fun things that I want to share that I may or may not be adding. I'm not sure yet. I'll do videos on them though, so you can kind of see what they are. In the meantime though, let me answer a few of these little things. I wanted to see how it worked with the Jackery. Okay, no problem. I can definitely do one of the videos with the Jackery because I do want to kind of wrap all of my Jackery thoughts up also into a video because I've been using it for so long. It's the one power station that has stayed with me consistently just because I've had it since like the beginning. That was something that whenever I first decided I wanted a power station, that's the one that we invested in, and that I have thoughts on it. I don't want to break you my thoughts, but I've had it consistently, and there's only a few things that I would say would be feedback that wouldn't necessarily be like, oh my gosh, I love this. But I still love it. It's weird personal things after having used the other power stations. And so it's like nitpicky stuff. But at the same time, I think it'll be super helpful. And also, I kind of want to talk a little bit more about, again, the power that it pulls and stuff like that. So you'll get to see some of that pretty soon. Let's see. Hello, Norma. Hello, Jean. It's Jean. I don't know why I said it that way. Hi, Sean. I think I was merging your names. It's kind of been a long day. Today I woke up and I think everybody's back from before now. Yeah, we're about the same number. Okay, so this is how my day started. I woke up this morning. I was gun-ho because today is the 10th. 10th. Anybody who has been watching my channel knows the 10th is the big day. This is the day the van is going to the shop. But they told me whenever I got the estimate, please call before you bring it in. And I was like, okay, I can definitely do that. And they were super honest with me and said, realistically, the reason why we ask you to call is because some of the parts may not be here. And I kind of knew that going into it. I was like, you know, they were honest though. They have a big, huge, like, responsibility to people bringing their vehicles in, and at the same time the honesty that they had was so welcomed after all the craziness that I'd been through. And they just told me outright, call ahead just so we can make sure the parts are actually here, because there's no point in you being displaced from your vehicle since it is drivable until the parts are here. And I completely appreciate them for that, because I've been using my van as a daily driver now, just kind of tooting and scooting around, driving to different places. I just can't camp in it because I can't open and close my back door because they told me not to do that because it could be bad. So anyway, I woke up, gun-ho, called, and sure enough, a part had not yet come in. So they're going to be calling me whenever it's available. And so I'm just kind of like, okay, it's what it is. After all the craziness that has happened, that wasn't even stressful. It just was not, because from the beginning, they were super honest with me that that could be an option, and I kind of mentally prepared myself somewhat in case that was. And so I'm okay. I am okay. So I made the most of my day, and after that, I kind of moved around. I had my coffee. I went grocery shopping. I did some other errand things, and then I came back and just started to work. A typical work day for me is I sit down and I just go through and I edit. And I could be editing for a long time. Today I've edited 2 videos. I have communicated with several companies that I am working with behind the scenes that have nothing to do with the channel, and just really put in a good solid, let's see, I worked from noon until right before I got on this. So that was a good solid work day right there. And realistically, I'll probably do a little bit more after I'm finished up here too. That's just me. But yeah, so that's kind of what my day looked like. And again, the van is not getting repaired today, and I'm okay with it. I've had all the stress. I've gone through all of the pieces already, and mentally I am okay. I know that it's not the most convenient because, again, I'm usually traveling all over, and during the summertime I go on some super epic adventures, and in my mind I had planned to go to certain places already. But if you're not willing to pivot, then you're not gonna have success when it comes to being on the road. It's just how it is. Life throws you wrenches all the time. And so I've gotten used to that. And previously, whenever I first started out doing this whole travel experience, I probably would have freaked out. But now at this point, I'm just kind of like, okay, we're rolling with the punches. As long as there's honesty involved and there's no runaround, I am fine. The only thing that makes me kind of a little crazy is when there's a little bit of runaround, and that's because there's no point in doing that. Like, realistically, there's just not. So yeah, the van didn't go to the shop today. I'm hoping it'll go soon. In the meantime, again, I have pivoted and I have ideas and thoughts, and so I decided that one of the things that I would do is not limit myself on the things that I could do. So I've been taking day trips, I've been going to museums. I actually went with my parents to a mine, which was so fun, and I cannot wait for you guys to see that video. I think that you'll really appreciate it, like, because it's really cool and it's something that doesn't involve you going underground. It's just really fun. And so I did that, and we took a nice little family vacation. I've had guests. Of course, Aussie Van Man came to pick up the refrigerator, and then we got to go and do all sorts of cool day trip stuff. That was super fun. I may have a couple of other guests also while I'm here. I never get to have guests because I'm never like home. So it's nice to be able to do those things. And so I am enjoying being able to film things that are local for a change, because typically I'm everywhere else. So I'm trying to embrace that and show kind of a variety of different interesting things that are within my region. And you know, I started off my channel saying that my main goal wasn't to necessarily encourage everyone to travel one specific way. It was to show them that you can find things in your backyard and they can be affordable. When I started out, I was broke. Let's just be super, super real. I was so broke. I'd paid off my debt, but I was broke. And so I wanted to do things where I could easily have an adventure still. And there's value to that. It doesn't have to be an extensive, huge thing. It can be something small. And so I got to where I would find free things to go to, or interesting roadside attractions, or cool stuff that didn't cost very much. And I would seriously weigh my budget when I would go on my longer trips of evaluating, is this worth it? Or is this worth it? Which one has more value? Because that's where I'm going to invest my money. And so now I've gotten to a place where I've gotten so good at that, that whenever I go out, I don't stress out, because I know my budget, I know my limitations, and I know what it is that I have that are interesting things that I would like to do. But I've also learned boondocking helps out, and finding campgrounds that aren't super costly aren't as hard now that I'm in the van versus in a tent, where some places I couldn't camp at all. And so it's been really nice. But yeah, so in the meantime, I'm doing all my little home projects, but I'm also adventuring, and I've got some cool stuff coming up. I am so excited to share with you guys. Of course, you saw we had the alpaca adventure. That was so fun. If you ever get an opportunity to interact at a llama or alpaca ranch, do it. It's so fun. I had my first interaction with llamas whenever I was in Colorado and I was doing something with the dirt. We went on this like thing where we were doing all these good deeds and services as a part of a competition, and I got to walk a llama, and it was the coolest thing until I met the alpacas, and that was the coolest thing. So you know, you never know what you'll find, and things don't, again, have to be super costly. So I'm trying to show things that are budget friendly, and then some things that are a little bit more costly also for people who are interested in all that. I'm also going to be doing some campground reviews though. Yes, some campground reviews. I had the one from Colorado that I never posted, that I finally posted for you guys. I also have one of the place that we stayed whenever we went on our family trip that's coming out, so that'll be kind of fun. It just kind of gives a different perspective as to the travel, and also that you could envision yourself in these places, whether you're in a van, whether you're in a tent, whether you're in an RV, or whether you're just a weekend warrior who wants to get away. So those are my goals. Those are the things I've been working on. A few other things that I've been working on, obviously. I've been trying super hard to catch up on my scribble map, so I've been working on that. Whenever it is closer to complete, I'll share it with you guys on the community tab. The scribble map, for those who have no idea what I'm talking about, it's just a map that shows all the different places I've been to, and I did this so that people who are interested in traveling to a place, they could pull up the map and kind of see what's there without having to be overwhelmed by, sometimes YouTube search can be chaos. So instead of having to go to all 1,000 of my videos to find one video, you can go to the map, find the area you're wanting to go to, zoom in, and then say, oh, she went here, here, and here. And it links you to not only a little text about it, but also the map location you can actually zoom into. You can plan your trip with driving directions also from there, and you can see the video that's attached to it. So it's just a little helpful thing. I also did a redesign of my website. Not anything that's going to look any different to somebody who's already been over there, but I fixed some of the components that apparently weren't engaging. I figured out how. So I've been busy. I fill my time a lot of times with tasks so that I don't have to worry about thinking about the things that stress me out. So fixed my website, done all these things. I'm going to have a lot of pre-scheduled blog posts already, and I'm going to continue doing that. So I'm going to get all backlogged on there so that people can have access to those. And so they'll roll out even when I do start traveling again, because sometimes it's really hard to log on to my web provider and also Scribble Map whenever I'm on the road, just because they do need such high speed internet. And so we're going to fix that though. We're going to fix that. Oh no, your suspension went out? That is not fun. That is not fun at all. I feel for you on the auto issues. I definitely do. It is not a fun thing to have to deal with auto issues at all. I do not recommend. I've been talking to people and telling people, because they ask what happened, and I'm like, oh, I got rear-ended. And then whenever they're like, oh, that's no fun, I'm like, yeah, don't recommend it. I do not recommend it. And at the same time, there's nothing you can do to avoid being rear-ended. Like, it's one of those things. Let's see, what else have I been working on? Projects at the house, the website, the Scribble Map. I gave you guys the van update. Let's see, we talked about what I've got going on with the travel right now. Let's see, I'm trying to think. There was something else. Oh, the video that I'm going to create about being on YouTube. I have been working on that. I just want to make sure that whenever I'm working on it, that what I'm coming across and saying is very clear and concise, because I want to help everyone, but I don't want to go into full on crazy mode. And let me explain. I am a little different. I clearly am different than most. I put out 5 videos a week. That is insane. I do not recommend that at all. But at the same time, I think that there's value to what I've learned along the way. So I want to make sure that whenever I'm explaining what I've learned along the way, that I don't go into insane mode of, oh, do. I found a streamlined way of doing what I personally do, and it may be different for someone else. So I don't want someone to think that my way is the only way, because it is not. I just want to give tips to help you find your way, because I think that's really important. I've heard a lot of people who are like, this is how you do it, and that works for them, but a lot of times it won't work for everyone. When I was seeking out information, originally I found several creators who were awesome creators who have amazing videos and tons of followers, and I was like, ooh, I like what they're doing. Their videos look nice, what they're saying is good, they have good engagement, and they have tons of followers, and that's awesome. They built their channel. Unfortunately, a lot of the strategies, for example, on a strategy channel don't necessarily translate into what you are specifically doing. You have to take those and filter them into what you're doing. And so whenever I put together this video, I want you guys to have just like the information so that you can filter them into what you're wanting to do, because not everybody's going to want to be a van channel or be a travel channel or be a person who does all sorts of things like I do. They might want to do something different. They might want to have a knitting channel, and that's going to have the same basic information, and at the same time it's not going to be the same exact thing, because even though the editing, the shooting and stuff like that might be similar, the way that you're going to engage with your audience is going to be different. So I'm trying to figure out how to meld all that together and not make the video longer than my house. That's all. So yeah, that's something else I've been working on. It hasn't gone away. It's just I'm trying to figure out how to kind of pull back a little bit in some of the areas, because I go on full-on tangents and then I get to the editing bay and I'm just like, yeah, no. Let's see what else is going on here. It is okay if you are late. You are here, and that's all that matters. Let's see. Michelle's here. Lorelai's here. Super Dave's here from Round Rock. Welcome to Texas. Yes, we are Texans. Yeah, so those are things that I'm working on. Let's see. I've been busy. I've been busy, guys. It's just been crazy. I didn't think I would be this busy coming back, but then I started realizing how much potential I could have to create and to work. And I'm still wanting to have a few more things that I work on that are kind of like little hidden, like passion projects that I have that eventually I might talk about. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Hello from Orlando. Hello. Let's see. My chat is kind of moving weirdly. It like will go down and then all of a sudden it goes boop, back up to the top. So I have to kind of like make sure I didn't miss anything. I missed a few hellos. I'm super sorry that I missed hellos. Let's see. Jackie says, I have a Jackery 500, thinking about adding a larger 2000. I would love to try out the 2000. So that might be something kind of interesting to look forward to, like maybe doing. I haven't messed with the 2000 yet. I've seen other people who have and they like it. So I would love to kind of get some feedback on that one maybe out there at some point. Cows can see the future. I don't think that that's true. I'm pretty sure that while you were here though, you read the Useless Facts book. I have a Useless Facts book. It's really great. I think Brock might have read a few of those things and maybe retained them. Hello from California. Hello. I was just watching a video from California. My parents really enjoy peanuts, and they saw the museum that has Charles Schultz and the peanuts there. And my dad said, have you been there? And I said, no, I would love to go there. So maybe at one point I'll get to go there. My goal was to make it there already. I just have not. There's so many places that I want to go that I haven't been able to go yet. My list just... It surprises me how long my list gets whenever I truly start to think about individual areas, and I'm just like, wow, there's so many things that I've done, yet so many things I still need to do. Let's see. Hello, B&B. Hello, Mary from upstate New York. Nice. Are you okay? I don't mean that in a weird way. I saw in the news that they had declared a disaster there because of flooding. Are you in that area? If so, please be safe. If not, also please be safe, but we don't have to worry about flooding at least. The weather has been weird. That's one thing that I've really noticed. Normally whenever I'm traveling, I'll pay attention to like the area that I'm in. But since I'm here, I'm just kind of like seeing all these updates from all these places, and I'm just like, wow, okay, there's so many crazy things going on in this world when it comes to weather right now. It is wild. And then of course here we've had tornadoes, and then the heat dome, which I didn't know was a thing, but apparently this week is another heat dome in Texas. Good times. That means I will be staying inside, or I will be going to an indoor attraction if I go somewhere this week. Not fun at all. This is the hottest that I've ever been in Texas, and it gets hot here, but it's like a suffocating heat that like sucks out your soul and just like leaves it to the wasteland of the world. It's bad. And with this heat dome that we just had, the one previous, it was literally so bad that I walked out to the van. Mind you, okay, so in my van, I was planning on leaving my van patches up, because who cares about those? Nobody's going to take those. Nobody cares. And I walked outside one day and they were starting to fall. And I was like, it is that kind of hot. Wow. I have never experienced that with the patches. They're so light and they have so much Velcro on them. But yet, yeah, they were dying out there. It was pretty bad. And then also, I noticed that like I walked outside. So my parents live on property also, and I was going down to their house, and I noticed just walking outside just to go to my van to drive down to their house, I was like, whoa, it made me swimmy headed. I had eaten, I was well hydrated, and yet I was dying. The heat dome is no joke, guys. Let's see. We are on the banks of the Hudson, but we have no flooding. Thank goodness. Yes, thank goodness. The videos that I saw did not look pleasant up there, so I'm so glad that you are not in that area. Let's see, digging your vibes. Thank you so much, Ponytail Van. What is a heat dome? Okay, so the heat dome, again, I don't blame you for asking this question because I had never heard of this before until this year. We might have had one before, but they never were like, oh my gosh, it's a heat dome. So what's happening is we're getting air that's pushing up from the Gulf of Mexico, and then we're having air that's flowing over, and it's creating like this literal like horseshoe dome thing. And what's happening is the air can't move, so it just gets trapped. So there's no way that it can circulate, and also it can't like have a reprieve, so it just sits and camps and gets hotter because it can't go. And so like you have moist air that's super humid, hot air that's just sitting all the way up into like not Mexico, all the way down from Mexico and up into like Oklahoma. And it's just crunching down on us. And it's like, you know what it's like whenever you jump into a swimming pool and then you get out and you feel like you're all like soaking wet? That's what it feels like to literally go outside. It's like walking to my vehicle. Not only am I out of breath, but I look like I jumped into a swimming pool. It's that kind of weird hot. And because it can't move because of that thing on top, what happens is it just like radiates the heat. So the heat index is already like bad in Texas, but because of the heat dome, we had one day that felt like 125, but not like 125 in like Phoenix where it's dry, where it's hot and knocks your breath out and you're like, I'm hot. But it was like, oh my gosh, I can't breathe, and it's 125 and there's no reprieve, and I just feel like I am gonna pass out. Like, but your body can't get rid of it because it's so moist. At least like whenever you're in dry heat, you can sweat and it gives you like some reprieve. When you're in moist heat, you cannot. And so it's really dangerous. In fact, it's very similar to whenever Canada had that bad heat wave. I think it was last year, it might've been the year before, where people were literally dying because of kind of the similar situation. It's moist. And so it was just sitting there and they weren't used to it. So it was really bad, except for add 20 degrees to that. That's what the heat dome is. Let's see, road tripping across America. Hello from Utah, starting my journey in a few weeks. Nice. I've learned so much from your videos. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so happy that I can share things. That's one of the things that I enjoy about doing a channel, is that I can share kind of my experiences, whether they're positive or negative, and people can kind of see that and judge for themselves if, one, it's for them, two, it's a place they want to go, three, it's something that they're interested in using, or four, if they're just like, nope, nope, and nope. Yes, it's like breathing through a wet sponge, a very dense wet sponge. It's not fun. And of course, I have struggled. It's not just because it's hot though. Like one of the things that I noticed, and I've kind of spoken about this before, I had COVID before COVID was COVID. I had it like in that like December time before they actually gave it a name, and I felt like I was gonna die. Like literally, I was sick for like a month and it was horrible. I couldn't breathe, and when I would breathe, it would just be like this hacking of grossness. It was so bad. Since then, my lungs have not recovered. And so I struggle now with things that I could have done easily before, but I can't do them now to that same extent. For example, I used to hike all the time. I love hiking. Hiking looks very different for me now because my lungs just are different, and I'm trying to build them back. So I do activities and sometimes push myself, but at the same time, once you start to get to a certain point, you're like, okay, I can't. It's not that I don't want to, it's I can't. So I'm continuing to try to build that back up. The problem is, in conditions like this, when you go outside and it physically knocks your breath out, it's harder for you to get that back in those cases because you're like, like there's nowhere for the lung to expand. It just doesn't go. So that's kind of been an ongoing journey for me in a lot of things. Like, it's really upsetting to not be able to do some of the things I want to do. It just really is. And at the same time, in just basic conditions, it's really upsetting sometimes to have to deal with that. So, you know, in the heat dome world, I just kind of make a judgment call saying, okay, I need to stay inside a little bit more. It's fine. No, I don't use a puffer or anything like that. I just, those kind of, okay, so fun story. So I had one of those oxygen cans left from when I went to Colorado. I might have gotten one when I was in California too, because I was in the north. I think it was just from whenever I was in Colorado though. Anyway, I had one of them, and whenever I had COVID, I ended up using that thing as though it was an inhaler, and that's literally the only thing I'm pretty sure that saved my life. Now, it's not quite the same, because it's not that I can't breathe, it's that my lungs physically don't want to expand the same way. So when I start to get, it's not that I can't breathe, it's that if it's a different feeling than not being able to breathe. I don't know how to explain it. It's just very different. It's not comfortable at all. And normally I'm good, but I do have to rest a little bit more, and I can't do altitude the same way that I did altitude before. I can drive into altitude and I'm fine. I don't get headaches or anything like that. But movement in that altitude then starts to affect me a lot more rapidly than it did prior. So yeah, that's super fun. But it's okay. It's okay. Again, I could sit here and I could be super sad about it, or I could say, okay, that's just life. We're going to get on and we're going to do some other things, and we're going to be resourceful with our time and our energy, and we're going to figure it out. And in the meantime, you know, we're going to live our lives. Life isn't promised, so I'm just happy that every day we can wake up and say hello, and that is what I look forward to. And the rest of it, we can work out the details on later. Let's see. You have COPD since I had Yes. Yes, it's one of those things that a lot of people had no issues whatsoever and they were fine. And then a lot of people did not. And I've had people, and this is the funny part, I had someone tell me, well, maybe if you would have been in better health. I was hiking 10 miles a day at that time. I was in super good health. I was in probably the best shape of my entire existence at that point when it came to lung capacity and ability to do stuff. And it knocked me to here. I have since noticed that even though I feel probably the best that I have felt in a long time when it comes to like mentally, and also when it comes to how I approach things, and also in some aspects physically, it's very different now when it comes to the actual tasks. Let's see. Let me see if I missed anybody else here. Oklahoma City's in the house. I think I missed some up at the top here. It just keeps moving on me. This is the only bad thing about doing it on my phone, is I can't see everything, and then on my other screen it's not in slow mode because I couldn't do slow mode for the chat, so whenever it moves it just shifts really quickly. Let's see. I think I'm caught up now. Yay! Okay, so let's talk about some other stuff. What would be my dream cake? I have no idea. I don't know. I'm kind of weird about things. Like, I have had a cake mix that I've wanted to make for a long time. Haven't touched it. Other times I'll be like, ooh, this looks good. I like tres leches cakes, only if they're done well. I love this, I think my aunt calls it an angel dream cake, or a dream angel cake. It's so good. There's a hummingbird cake that a lady that I used to go to church with whenever I was super young would make. Oh my gosh. I have no idea what was in it. It was so good. If you know what's in it, it's delicious. Sopapilla cheesecakes, super, super good. At the same time, I'm not going to eat any of them very much because sweets aren't really my thing. I'm more of a savory person. I will get into some sweets. Typically, though, I'm not going to grab for those first. It's just not. Let's see. We have air caution alerts because of the fires from Canada. I've seen a lot of that too. I've seen some interesting things about the fires. Mostly people trying to make light of them, not because it's not a deep subject, but because they're just like, okay, like the world needs to stop now, you know? Hello from Colorado. Hello. I just posted a short from a place that I stayed in Colorado that I loved, that I would love to go back to right now. It would feel so awesome, but I'm just kind of wishfully thinking. I will be there a little bit later in the summer though, like toward fall. That's where our mountain house retreat is, so I will be going up there whether I have to borrow a car or not. I'll be going. But yeah, that's the plan for that. I know I will be doing that part. I kind of still want to go to Kentucky. I'm trying to figure out how to go to Kentucky. It will depend on when the van's ready, but I want to go to Kentucky. My family's up there. I would love to see them. I think it'd be super fun to check that out. There's a lot of places that I haven't explored up there, and I've gotten kind of some FOMO because I was looking through some photos that my parents took whenever they went on their trip up, and I want to go. I want to go. There's so many cool things there. So yeah, that's kind of my goal. I don't know how that's going to work. I'm probably still going to, after I get the van back, whenever that is, whenever it goes in and then I get it back, depending on how long that takes for that to happen, I'm probably still going to go slowly. I may not do a long, lengthy trip right out the gate. There's a couple reasons that I've been thinking about that though. I've had enough time to really think through what I kind of want to do whenever I get back on the road. And one of the things I always hate, that I've hated every single time that I've had to do it, is when I unload the van completely, which I've done now like I think 4 times. Getting back into the van and just getting everything set. I hate rushing through that, because what happens is I ultimately am like, okay, let's load everything. And I spend one day where I exhaust myself so much. And then I'll realize, oh, I could have done this instead. So I think what I'm going to do instead of doing that this time, especially if it's 4,562,000 degrees, is I'm probably going to just set up a very basic setup, and then I'm going to go for like a day or 2. And then I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to add to the setup, and then I'm going to go for a day or 2, or maybe even a week. I'm probably not going to do a long trip right out the gate though. I'm going to do shorter trips with lots of cool things involved with them. But that will give me an opportunity to really fill out the space again and make those changes that I want to make, and also not feel rushed, because I hate that sometimes in the process of trying to get back on the road, I have rushed and either brought too much stuff, or I've forgotten something, or I've set something up that I ended up having to move later on. And so I think that instead of doing that, I'm just going to allow myself the chance to breathe. I mean, why not? There's nothing saying I have to be, oh, I have to go for 6 months. Again, I don't have to do that. I want to do things that are meaningful and helpful to me, so that whenever I do have everything set, crossing fingers, I do not have to unload the van again fully. And if I do have to unload it, it'll only be a little bit of stuff. Like, my ideal way of doing what I need to do is that I have a setup that I just want to be happy with, and that everything is in the place that is the most convenient and comfortable to me. And I really liked how everything was set up in the van before I kind of came back here, but there were a few things I could definitely see myself wanting to change now that I have the opportunity to do so. I don't like to do changes on the road a lot of times unless they're just minor changes, because it's super inconvenient, like realistically. I know not everyone has the luxury of having a base camp, but since I do have that, there is no reason why I should pull half my stuff out in the middle of some place unless it is a necessity to do so, because otherwise I have the ability to park under a shade tree and pull it out and put it in a place where it's not going to get damaged. And it's way easier doing it that way, in my opinion. Again, I started out traveling in a car, and so I would travel for, I think the longest trip that I did in the car was like a month and a half, and I tent camped every single night of that. And at the end of that month and a half, I made changes for the next trip that I took, and that one was like a month. And I think every trip thereafter was like a month. I took one trip was longer, because I took one that I went up and I did a ton of stuff. I was gone for like 3 months, and that was wild. One of those weeks I did not stay in the car or in a tent though. I was actually staying at a friend's house, but the rest of that time I was staying tent camping, or I had to car camp because there weren't places. And I remember that each trip that I would do, I would have to fully unpack the car and then repack the car, and I would change things every single time. The difference is with the van, I can keep things static in a place, but if I do need to change things, it becomes like this big ordeal, because then I'm like, ooh, moving parts, all these things. While I have a blank canvas, it's just easier for me to do all of this. So I'm probably going to just like throw my bed back in there and hit the road with maybe like a power station and go somewhere and see what I think. And then I might throw a couple more things in there. And then the next time, because I still need to fabricate my brackets, because I can't do that until we actually put the shelf back in, then I might do that and then reload that. I like the way that the shelf is set up as a whole. So the things that are in the shelf still will be in the shelf, probably the way that they were. I took pictures of everything before I unloaded it because, oh my gosh, it's like a puzzle. But there are some other things that might change. I don't know. I had to put my seat back into my van temporarily so I could use it as a daily driver. Doing that, so I'll have to take that back out again. But until then, you know, I'm not in a rush to do those things because I can still have meaningful adventures even without being able to go for months and months and months at this time. At the same time, does that mean I don't want to go for months and months and months? No, it doesn't. I want to do that. I just want to make sure when I do, it's the most efficient. Let's see. Ohio. I would love to stop by Ohio. There's a few things there that I would like to do. The Mascot Hall of Fame is there. Oh my gosh. Yes. Your home base looks cute. Is it a tiny house? Yes, I do have a tiny house. I actually have a whole channel for it because I didn't want to overwhelm everyone here on this channel. It's Tiny Texas Living. You can find it. And I do one video a week right now, and it's just me doing whatever it is that I do here at base camp. I'm showing bits and pieces of the house as I go because I'm still working on it. I've been working on it for a considerable amount of time. Of course, whenever I'm gone for a long time, I don't really do a whole lot to it because I'm not here. So this time around, I've been really working on it because I'm here. So I have videos and they'll be coming out on Mondays. Eventually, maybe I'll add a second video. I don't know. I'm not going to rush myself on that one though. But yeah, I do a little bit of everything in this little tiny house. And somebody asked me on one of my tiny home videos a question that I actually wanted to answer here because I know that she follows here as well. So if you're seeing this, hi. The house itself is a prefabbed cabin. So it's just a empty shell of a cabin. And then it was built out. So my parents actually built out this entire place for the most part. I helped, but they built out the big majority of it. It's kind of an interesting story, but yeah, they did all the like selections and stuff like that as to what would look best. They had a previous cabin, and so it's kind of like one of those things that, you know, they learned from the first one. So in this one, they did some other things, and they have a house on property. So it was kind of just like one of those things, but it's not finished. So it is something that I'm still working on with the finishing, like trim in some areas. And if you watch my bathroom video, you know my bathroom does not function. And I had somebody ask me about that. And I have like my tiny van toilet in my house right now. And it's okay. I have a place to shower on property. It's fine. So those are kind of some of the questions that people had asked though about what kind of house this is. Basically, it was a blank shell. And then everything inside of it has been built accordingly to whatever like either my parents or myself wanted. And so yeah, it is what it is. And then I've been really working on the design aspect of it because I'm here. I want to put my pieces, since I'm here to actually look at it, on the house. And so as I'm going, it's coming along. It's looking more like I want it to. There's still things that I'm changing. I think I'm going to take on an outdoor project soon after it cools off if I'm here. Otherwise, I'll tackle it whenever I come back for Christmas. And I want to have like an area where whenever I do have guests that they can enjoy and sit down and have like a nice cool evening inside versus necessarily in our vans. Especially like whenever it comes to like a friend who is coming from somewhere else, I want them to be able to feel like when they come inside, they're home. Just because that's how I am. I've always been a person who's kind of like a host. Whenever I had an apartment, I was always the friend who I would cook up the meal and then people could come over and we'd have a good time. So I kind of want to have that, but at the same time be mobile. So I want to be able to have that one place that if I do decide I want to be like, hey, just come to my house, they can. And then we can hang out and then we can go on adventures. There's a lot of cool stuff, like I said, around this area that it's just nice to be able to kind of show people every so often, especially considering that I live literally an hour from like the bucket list of most people who come to Texas Fort Worth. I don't understand it, but okay, cool. But yeah, I think that's one of the things that I've enjoyed about this. I'm working on a project on my porch right now, which you'll see soon. I want to make every space feel like me, but also like a livable, workable space, because that's the other thing that I do while I'm here is I work a lot, obviously. So every space in the house, I want it to be where I can film there, where I can set up if I want to do some of my sound stuff that I do. I want to be able to have comfort where when I come in, it feels like I don't have to like move things constantly. I want to feel like I can kind of spread out a little bit, because in my van I can't. And it's been nice. It's been super nice. But at the same time, I still want my van fixed because I want to go on the road. I love being able to wake up every day to a different backyard. And I think there's something really special about that. I know that a lot of people right now are kind of in a transition. And so that's, every so often you have a season that's just kind of a little weird. This is my season of weird. And I'm fully embracing it, because one of the things that I've kind of been doing is lean into my weird, and you can kind of see that on my other channel. This is me, unapologetically, and that's okay. And same thing, like on my other channel, I try to be really helpful. Like this channel, I try to be super helpful, but on my tiny home channel, I'm just kind of talking to myself in my house, because that's realistically what happens, okay? Let's see. Ohio has Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yes, that's the other thing on my list, definitely. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, there is also a state park. Is it Hawking? Is that the one that's there? I don't remember. My friend who is a photographer used to post these beautiful pictures of it, and I just wanted to go so much. So that's on my list, and then also the mascot thing. I can't wait. But they also have another thing, I think it's called Other Worlds, and it's kind of like Meow Wolf. Speaking of which, they just opened Meow Wolf down the road from me. I'm going to go there before I head out. Yes, Hocking Hills, thank you. But I'm going to go to the new Meow Wolf before I depart Texas. I'm waiting for it to die down just a little bit, because it's really, really going to be busy for a bit. And I want to go, but I want to be able to enjoy it, and I don't want to have to like feel like I'm being pushed through it. And sometimes, even though they do a limited amount of tickets per day, it can still get a little chaotic. So I'm going to give them a bit, and then I'm going to go probably before I head out on my big trip, which I'm not sure where that's going to be yet, because again, we have to wait on how long the van takes. But in the meantime, I'm also getting some other things taken care of. I'm able to tag and inspect my van, so that'll be all up to date, so I won't have to lose time on that. Last year, I had like this whole like panic moment where I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do this, but I'm going to be on the road. And so I had to like jump through some hoops to get it done. So I'm not going to have to jump through hoops this year. Yes. Some other things that are just like basic maintenance things, depending on what the van looks like whenever I get it back, because they're going to have to like replace the doors and replace the like the little emblems and stuff. I almost can guarantee they're no longer going to be black, and I'm probably going to have to redo those. So that'll be another project. That's what I'm saying. All of these projects just to get the van back to where it was, you can see how it quickly adds up and can become very overwhelming. So instead of being overwhelmed, I'm just taking it super slow. My big trip, Montana, I don't know if it's going to necessarily include Montana. I was initially thinking that I was going to head up and then over and do all of the northern states. I don't think that's going to be in my wheelhouse of what I can do this year now, based on the things that are going on. Riley's texting me, guys. I don't know how to respond to her because I can't disrupt the chat. So everybody, if you're seeing this, say hi, Riley. But yeah, I was originally thinking I was going to do that big loop, and I don't think I'm going to be able to, based on the fact that it's not going in early enough. I think it's going to be a bit late. I'm not saying that I can't do it. I'm just saying I don't know if for me to be able to explore all those areas the way I would like to, that I can have as many areas to explore, because I deep dive into an area when I go, and so I may just have to be like really sad. I was hoping to get up to Glacier. We have friends who are in Glacier, and I really wanted to go. I kind of had to have the conversation with Charles and Tony about that already, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go now. I would love to, but I just don't know if it's going to happen, unfortunately. Let's see. Oh, we got a Hi Tyson too. Whoop whoop. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm caught up again. It just keeps doing the weird thing. Let's see. I'm 100 miles from Glacier. Oh, it's so pretty up there. I'm so sad because our entire goal was to go up to Glacier this year. That was the whole goal. And then whenever the accident happened, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to get it fixed in Texas. That's going to be a different departure point. Okay, cool. And I'd kind of been okay with that. But then I was like, okay, it's not going to work. And then the longer that it went, more I was like, it's not going to work. And now that we're having some more delays because of parts, I don't know when that's going to happen. And again, it's fine. For anybody who's just jumping in here, long story short, I've been going through it with my van. I had an accident way back in March, and still waiting to get it fixed. I had to deal with insurance, which was a crazy mess. And then I finally got it to a point where we had a date, but that was a date with kind of like an asterisk of maybe based on the parts. And sure enough, the parts are being problematic. I kind of thought this might happen just based on the fact that they're having so many delays right now, but it's okay. It's okay. Maybe we'll get it in sooner. Maybe we'll come in later. Until then, we're still going to have some fun. Let's see. Glacier is my most favorite trip I've ever taken. See, I want to go so bad. I'm also kind of thinking this. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Go with me on this journey. If it doesn't work out, it could be because in the grand scheme of things, I believe that things are supposed to work out when they're supposed to. Maybe it's not supposed to work out because I'm supposed to go to Glacier and Banff, which means that I need to have my passport first. We're going to go with that, okay? That's what I'm going to go with on this. So, yeah. Hour from Sequoia National Park. Nice, nice. I definitely don't see myself going to California this go-around. It's just not looking, it's not looking like it's going to work out. I can see myself, Colorado. I love Colorado, but at the same time, I have something there. I can almost see myself, depending on how it goes, in Kentucky, just because I need to go there. I do. Collie Kyle, I've been working on it. I don't know if I'm talking to Collie Kyle or Collie or Kyle. Does that make sense? But I've been working on it. They just have so many delays. It's driving me crazy. But I am happy though, because there's a reason why I'm happy about this. Delaying allowed me to see other people that I knew doing like border crossings, so I could see what to expect. Like Dee had this situation where she couldn't go across the border almost. And so by being able to see that, I was like, okay, note to self, these things are all the things I need to know. That's good to know. Hi from Maryland, you need to visit the fall. I loved my stay in Maryland. I stayed actually close to DC, and I really enjoyed my time there. I stayed there for about a week and a half, and I did all the Smithsonian's, but I also got to visit out to Baltimore and stuff like that. I have some friends there. And yeah, so that was kind of cool. I do enjoy that area. Good suggestions for Glacier there. I appreciate those. Yes, air conditioner is my friend. It is a nice 71 degrees in my house right now. And it is a very hot, not 71 degrees outside, and it is dark. So it is like 9 o'clock at night here, and it is still kind of, whew. I've gotten to a point now where in the evenings, because I can get the house cool enough, I can turn off the air a lot of times. That is amazing. In my van, that would never be an option because it would just be that hot. So I'm kind of spoiled by that. I will say that is one of the bonuses to being here, other than the fact that I get to do my projects and I get to see my family and stuff like that, all of which is super important also. We're not going to last much longer, guys. I got the countdown warning on the phone. I knew it was going to happen. Hey, we made it a pretty long time though. For those who kind of didn't hear that at the beginning, I had to move from my computer to my phone because the computer was not letting me do the chat at all. It was weird. It was super weird. So I moved over here, and I knew that I had limited shelf life because my phone only had like 41%. It's gone down. The lives for some reason drain the battery so much faster. But I'm gonna stay on for a few more minutes until I get that last warning. If it does cut me off for some reason, you'll know why. I haven't turned my AC on. Oh, I have been living. So because of the Texas heat, I have been needing that air conditioner. I even looked into other fans other than the fan that I showed, that I unboxed. I looked at other fans, like personal fans that you can wear, because I was like, okay, it's hot. It's super, super hot. Kind of mentioned earlier, it's like death hot. It's like, I'm not even joking. How's Dad's van build going? It's not going anywhere right now, again, because of the heat. He's been working on it. He got a ton done, and I have a lot of things to update you guys on. But I don't want to finish the update until he's finished with one project, and he hasn't been able to touch it because it's just been too miserable. Even under the shade, even with fans, there's just no way. You can't even beat the heat in the morning now. He was working in the morning on it and doing pretty decent until it got hot, and then it just got to be too much. It's just not a fun time right now. I'm assuming he'll get to work on it whenever it does cool off just a little bit and finish up all these projects. But right now he has the whole thing in a very cool place. He has his wall stuff up. It looks really nice. He has these nice white walls. He has his kitchen set up. He has installed his sink. All of that's done. So that's pretty cool. He has his second bed built and installed. He's going to be doing his like solar stuff soon. That's another reason why he can't work on it, because it's too hot to be on the roof. So all that's coming super along, and I'm hoping to do an update sooner rather than later, weather depending. Let's see. Hi, Crystal and Lagringa? I don't know. Please don't make me sad because I messed it up. Oh gosh. At some point, my eyes also start doing this thing where it's like, wow, we're tired. We're almost there. Like I said, it's been a very long day. It's been kind of a long existence, though. We went, let's see, I'm trying to think. We went from last week, we left on Wednesday, got back on Friday. We drove to Arkansas, back from Arkansas, did a ton of adventuring while we were in Arkansas, got back on Friday. Saturday, I basically rested, kind of, but not enough to really matter. And then yesterday, again, did a bunch of stuff. I filmed a video. I did a bunch of stuff in my tiny home. I edited like 3 videos. And so I just haven't really stopped. And so I feel like the moment that I actually stop is the moment that I sleep. And so I need to just like keep going until we get to that point, and then it's just night time. Oh yay, I said it. Yes, I said it right. That makes me happy. Can't wait to see your parents' band. I know, it's gonna be so exciting. I'm very happy for them because they're going to have this, but also because like this has been something they've wanted to do for a while, and I know there's tons of places that they want to explore, and you know, I'm hoping that maybe, just maybe, next time we take a family trip, we can take our vans, and that would be great. The weather will have to be better, but if we do that, it'd be cool. I don't know that I'll necessarily travel with my parents all the time. Some people have asked me that. I might travel some with them, but not all the time. They don't want to travel 24/7. They want to travel like limited trips where they pick someplace they want to go and actually enjoy it and then come back. And they don't want it to be like super lengthy times necessarily, although I bet that they'll do some lengthy travel too after my mom finishes up with her school stuff and retires. But I think that it's going to be interesting for them because they're going to finally get to go to the places that they want to go and not have to worry about finding a hotel to stay in, because that can be a problem sometimes. They also won't have to worry as much about like people jacking up the prices because it's seasonal. That happens a lot, especially during the summertime when my mom is off from school. And so they've encountered all of those things. And there's tons of campsites and tons of boondocking sites out there. So they'll have lots of options. And if they do choose to stay in a hotel somewhere, they can plan in advance for that, and then they can do that. Yeah, I think a family trip would be super awesome. I mean, we went a couple Christmases ago, and we all went to Branson and rented a Vrbo, and it was really fun. The difference between this trip and then the last trip was we rented a cabin this time, and we stayed there, and it was my parents and then also my dog. My dog is a senior dog. He stays with my parents. A lot of people have asked me why I don't have a dog. I do have a dog. He just cannot travel. He's old. It would not be fair to him. He has a hard time seeing. I mean, he's like that old. And so he is very comfortable in his existence, basically where people cater to him all day. There's not really a reason for me to have a pet on the road, realistically. And I've answered that question a ton of times, and people just continue to be like, you need a dog. No, I do not. I'm fine. It limits some of the places that you can go. It also limits some of the things that you can do because you have to provide certain things for a dog. And I don't have my van set up for that. I do not have any ventilation that would be outward ventilation for a dog to be comfortable. At the same time, I want to go to national parks. I want to be able to do hiking trails and stuff like that. And I can't do those if I have a dog in a lot of those instances. So that's one of those things. Awesome. My aunt and uncle went there. Let's see. You're looking to trick out a schoolie? Cool. That would be fun. That would be super fun. Some really awesome schoolies out there. In fact, we met a guy named Paul who had this really cool looking one who has an octopus on it. It was really neat. And he had kind of a different setup than a lot of people. And he had it like his bachelor pad, but he had it where you could have a couch and then it would fold down into a bed, but it wasn't like in the back, it was actually on the side. And then he had it set up where he could work from wherever he was, and it was really nice. And then of course we saw the Bus Life Pirates. I love theirs. Theirs was so nice. The way they have their setup is awesome. I would love a bus, but at the same time, a bus does not get the mileage that I'm ever going to get in my van. Even with the roof box where I've lowered my output just a little bit, I still get way better, and it's so much cheaper. Yeah, so for full time, that would not be a thing. Plus, I think that if I were to drive something that big, I would be so uncomfortable all the time if I was driving all over the way I do. I can pretty much park anywhere in my van. I can get in and out. The only thing that I have issues with is if I go to parking garages, because some of them are lower, so roof box I can't. But otherwise, the van has been nice for me personally. Again, though, other things work better for other people, and it doesn't mean that I don't like them, because I definitely like them. It's just, it doesn't work for me. Yeah, the gas would be pretty awful. I've talked to some bus people, and they put in a chunk, that is for sure. I do think that there's an interesting one. I watched a whole series a while back. There used to be a creator that I watched all the time. I don't watch it as much now because I'm not in the same place that I was when I started watching the channel. Jax Austin, he had his tiny bus, and I was like, ooh, that's perfect. And then he got a big bus, and I was like, oh, I could never do that. But some of the things that he would talk about were still interesting. And so one of the things he did was he did a veggie oil conversion, and that was pretty cool. So I thought that that was a neat alternative for the bigger bus. I don't know how feasible that is. I don't know how reasonable that is to most people, but it was pretty cool. Let's see. Yes, the bus for shorter trips would be really nice. I mean, we even talked about Schoolypalooza. It'd be cool if, like, we had a bus and then we could have it set up where it's like the place, so that you could have an interior space, because like at Schoolypalooza, we were getting pounded by sand. And like with all of us with our tinier vans, there's not really entertaining space, but in the buses, you can have a full group of people in there playing cards, dominoes. You can sit there and have somebody playing music, and there's space for all of that versus the tiny van where it's like, hi, I'm in here, and I might be able to put one other person in here, but we can't really do activities and stuff. So, I mean, there's a pro and con to everything. I know that Brittany, what is her channel name? I can't think. It just left me. Anyway, Brittany, she had the bus. She's a Mountain House ambassador also. And I liked how she had her setup. It was really nice. But she enjoys going and staying in an area for a while and then moving to the next area and staying for a while. And it made more sense that way. Oh no, we're to Jurassic Parking. Oh no. Oh. Let's see. Yes, you caught alive. I'm getting close to the end though, but we are here. We went through some hoops to get here, but we made it. I'm trying to think, there was some other random question someone asked me the other day that I was going to talk about tonight, and it has gone. The brain cells have died for the night. I'm trying to think what it was. Oh, somebody asked me what I was going to do now that NVs are discontinued. So, fun fact, NVs are discontinued if you didn't know, but they did sell the body style to Chevy, so they're still making the Chevy Expresses. So there still are functioning vans out there that look like my van. However, the current situation that I'm in with the van and the parts, it isn't isolated to the NV specific, because that's why they were asking. It's actually parts as a whole are difficult right now, not just NV because it's discontinued. So, I mean, I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine. I'm not gonna do anything with the van. I like the van. I'm gonna keep the van. I just need it to be fixed. That's all. I also had somebody be like, okay, just get over it. Just go somewhere. Like, it's fine. It's drivable. No, that's not gonna happen. The exact reason why is because both the shop and a lot of reviews of this specific situation on the internet from people have all said basically that the more you open and close your door, the worse that it can get. And eventually your door could just fly open. And I'm not doing that. That's scary. So I'm just not opening the back doors, which means I can't use my kitchen, which means I can't use my back opening area, and I can't get to some of my things until it's fixed. So that's why I'm so adamant about, no, we must get this fixed. Glad you're doing well. Hope no more crazy storms. I hope not too. It has not been fun. At the same time, like, on days that it rains, it feels so much better. A couple days ago it rained and it was like, wow, I can breathe. And then by like afternoon, it just became a big muggy mess. So I'll take the rain without the heat and without the tornadoes. Long time indeed. I love your van. It's perfect for the size of 1 or 2 people. Yeah, absolutely. I think so. For just a regular daily driver, it's great. It has wonderful gas mileage. Like, I really enjoy it as a daily driver, but as a regular van, I totally enjoy it. I think that if I was to have another person in there, I would probably do like a rock and roll bed or something like Dee has. I watch, of course, Life is Too Short, and they have one, and there's 2 of them. They have a swivel on their passenger seat so they can both ride, which is very nice, but then they also have the rock and roll bed so it can stow. And that is the only way I think that it would probably work out with 2 people, but at the same time, there is physically enough space, and I really enjoy my van. Oh, somebody asked me, this is the question, the other question. Somebody asked me if I was taking my toilet that I just bought on my van, or in my bathroom video, if I'm going to take that on the road with me. If you have not seen the video, I was looking for a little composting toilet option. I needed something at house because I do not have water connected for my toilet, and I do not want a water toilet, like, at all. Originally I was planning on doing like an incinerating toilet, but at this point, because we lose power so much and they take so much power that they basically would zap a power station using it, I was like, okay, let's try something different. Let's try composting. That's fine. So I got a composting toilet option, and somebody had seen it and was like, are you putting that in the van? I don't know. That is something I could do if it works out. I'm not sure. It is basically like a seat, and the only thing I will say that I don't love that would make it kind of weird is it's kind of bulky, and it does fold down, but it's hard to get it apart. So I don't know that that would be the best unless it was static. And if it had like a hard seat that was like hard on it that you could sit on, I might, but I don't know that it's necessarily like firm enough. It's kind of squishy on the top because it's not like a hard seat. It's a plastic seat. So I couldn't use it as a chair. So I don't know that that's going to happen. And then somebody else asked me about my camping toilet, if it was still around. It is. It's fine. I haven't had any problems with it. I bought it before I headed out on I think it was my last trip or the trip before. I don't know. Anyway, I've had it for a while, and I've used it tons, and it's fine. I like it. A lot of people have said they didn't feel like it would be supportive. Never had a problem with it. Oh no, we just got the 10% warning, which means that the 10% goes to 5% in like a minute and a half. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer the questions that are already in the chat or address them, and then I'm going to get out of here for the night before the phone dies. It says here, let's see. Actually live in Texas as a base camp. I'm dreading heading back down. Yeah, it's super hot. Not fun. I do not recommend. If your base camp has air conditioner, it's going to be like your best friend. Otherwise, it's hot. We're redoing our ambulance. I hope to see you on the road. Yes, ambulance would be super fun. Although I am scared of an ambulance personally, just me. I said this once because somebody asked me why I didn't look into those. They just freak me out. I have 2 or 3 friends who have them. They're awesome. They're so awesome. But for some weird reason, my mind goes to it was an ambulance. That's it. It's kind of like people who have a hearse. I've seen a converted hearse. It was so cool. But I was like, it's a hearse. I don't know. It's a weird thing. It has nothing to do with reality. It's just a me thing. But I love them. They are so cool looking. In fact, one of our friends just purchased one and he's working on it. So I am so excited to see what his looks like too. Thanks, Bunny. Take care. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, all the bunnies in there. That's so nice. Yes, no spooks. See? Oh, that's my thing. It's like, ooh, it's gonna, all of a sudden, I'm gonna hear some like random phantom noise. That's in my mind because I watch too many weird movies. Oh, high probability of being haunted. See? I did see, sorry. I did see this one lady who had an ambulance and she did a video, and if I knew where the link was, I would share it because it was so funny. The first thing she did was she went in and she had this thing of sage and she was like, be gone, be gone. And it was so funny because she was clearly just being extra just because she knew people were going to say that. And it was so funny. I died laughing. And then afterwards she sat down and she was just like, you know, I got this already gutted, so I'm pretty sure the spirits are gone, but just in case. It was just so funny. Oh, I love that dress on you. Thank you so much. I'm actually going to start putting up some more of my little summary outfits, I think just on the community tab so people can see them. A lot of people were asking me to do that. I used to do that early on. I even used to blog about some of the things that I would pack and have, but I haven't done that in a long time, so I'll start bringing that back. I have a good time with it. I like to dress up. A lot of times you guys see me like this, looking crazy, but whenever I don't look crazy, I look like a full put together human. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I'll start doing a little bit more of that. Thank you. With that said though, I am going to wrap this up. We've been on here for 72 minutes and the phone is about to die. Thank you guys for coming to my live. I appreciate each and every one of you always, and I don't say that enough. So thank you for taking the time to come and check the live out and interact. But also thank you for watching the videos. I really enjoy being able to share and then also having comments with you guys. So yeah. Till next time, guys. Bye.